Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to AIRIS. Without any further ado, let's get right back to where we left off last time. And oh boy, am I ready. I clapped my hand over my mouth to muffle a squeak when a royal guard suddenly appears from behind some pillars, causing me to duck behind a wall just in time. Despite nabbing a magic potion from Lyle's house that would disguise my appearance temporarily, so to the royal guards I should look like one of them, I'd rather not test the effectiveness of the potion by running straight into the patrolling guards. My heart is pounding so loudly that every beat is echoing in my ear, and part of me fears that it would give my location away, even though I know it's impossible for the guards to hear my heartbeat. No, I mustn't get caught now, not after how far I've come and how much this infiltration cost me. I wrapped my hand around the small piece of scroll in my pocket, this time full of scribbled directions of a supposed secret tunnel that leads to the inside of the castle. It took me an arm and a leg to buy this information from the retired personal handmaiden of the late queen, even when I couldn't verify the information until after payment is made. Now that my risk paid off, I must accomplish what I set out to do. When I'm certain that the guard has left, I round the corner in caution, making sure the coast is clear. I scurried down the hallway, my sights set on the throne room that, according to the handmaiden, should be just around the... Halt! Who goes there? No. I said halt! Step out of the shadows with your hands above your hand. Hands above your hand! Hands above your hand! Hands above your hand! I think they meant head. Freezing like a rabbit that just got a whiff of a wolf's scent, I turn around in a stiff motion to look at the guard. The guard looks me up and down, appearing momentarily confused at my attire. I suppose that means Lyle's potion is working after all. Praying to the mothers that my smile seems natural enough, I salute in his direction, straightening my back and deepening my voice as far as it would go. Greetings, comrade. Oh, you're fellow palace guard. Sorry about that, brother. Carry on. Comrade. Barely managing to keep the relief off of my face, I salute at him again, which he returns. Have a good day. You as well. My heart still racing in my chest, I close my eyes and exhale in relief as I turn back around. Thank the mother that I didn't... Wait! With a forced casualness, I glance at the palace guard again in trepidation and fear. Yes? To my horror, the guard suddenly lifts its weapon at me, and I realize entirely too late that it's a magic staff disguised to look like a sword. The guard frowns in concentration and mutters a few words under his breath, and a second later, an involuntary cold shiver runs down my body. Judging from the shock that suddenly crosses the guard's face, it's clear that he has lifted the magical effects of Lyle's disguising potion. Crap! What tipped him off? And just my luck that it happens to be a palace guard with magical affinity who can shatter my illusion with a single spell. You are not one of us. Who are you? Someone from the Guild of Vassals? I don't know what you're talking about. Without thinking, I lunge at him, but he twists out of my way at the last second. I can only watch in dawning horror as he begins shouting at the top of his lungs about his discovery of an intruder. There's no doubt that in just under a minute, I will be completely surrounded by guards. Damn it! I was so close too! With one last glance at the throne room just ahead, I turn tail and sprint down the hallway, hoping to find an escape route. Unfortunately, my escape attempt is botched by sudden ropes binding my feet together, causing me to fall heavily to the ground with an oof. You are not going anywhere. I glare up at the guard, who is panting from the exertion of casting multiple high-level spells one after another, my mind whirling to try and think of a way out of this. You better let me go right now, or I swear you'll regret it. As you can see, I'm a vassal from the guild. I have business with King Leo today. He requested my presence at his room, and he's not going to be pleased if he finds out you are the reason for my tarry. Uncertainty flashes across his face, but then determination settles in, causing my heart to sink in disappointment. No, that's a lie. If you really had business with the king, why were you sneaking around disguised as a palace guard? That I have no response to. What is going on here? What is all this ruckus about? Oh my god, he's so old. Both of us raise our heads at the authoritative voice booming around us, and my breathing hitches. At the sight of the king in front of us, the guard hurriedly falls to one knee, bowing his head in respect. Your Majesty! Yep, I'm dead. What's this? Who is this? He squints at my face, and despite my instant attempt to shield my face with my hair, I can tell he has recognized me. Warrior Alia? What's going on, guard? Explain. Your Majesty, I discovered this woman suspiciously skulking around the hallways. At first she was disguised by magic as another palace guard, but I could sense great magical energy radiating off of her, so I tried to dispel whatever spell was on her, revealing her true appearance. She claimed to have business with you, but The guard glances up at the king in uncertainty as heavy footsteps begin to approach. In an instant, I'm surrounded by guards, pointing their swords at me. Your Majesty, it's just a common intruder. I can take... No, it's a vassal from the guild. We have to approach this carefully. King Leal glances at me again before flickering his wrist at his general. Somehow General Alaric seems to understand the king's unspoken intent through that small signal and immediately dismisses the guards, leaving behind only the general and the king. The magical ropes around my legs disappear as soon as the caster leaves the vicinity, but General Alaric is behind me. Alaric is behind me in a flash, restraining my arms behind my back in an iron hold despite my struggles. Let go of me! Warrior Alia, I do not remember requesting your presence today. Why have you come here to the palace, uninvited? Were you, perchance, sneaking in for some ill intent or another? Perhaps to spy on me, considering how close you are to my throne room, where I hold audience? Dread settling deep in my stomach, I swallow hard. At my silence, the general tightens his hold on my wrist, causing me to wince. His Majesty asks you a question. Answer it. What should I do? If I admit it now with an explanation, I may get off easier, but I may also be putting the final nail in my coffin and be dragged out for execution immediately. Let's just admit it. Damn it, I'm screwed either way. There's no way I can talk myself out of this mess, so I might as well just admit it and hope that the king would let me off easy. Yes, you're right. I was sneaking into the castle in hopes of eavesdropping on your conversations. How dare you! I raised my voice to be heard above the general's enraged bellowing. Only because you have been deceiving all of us in the guild! Yes, I know all about the deal you made with the other realm. Alaric, throw her in the dungeons. What? You aren't even going to hear me out? I have no idea what you're talking about. And even if I do not have to answer to you. You'll do well to remember that I am the king, and I can make sure you never leave the prison cell if I wish. Despite my attempt to stay tall and proud in front of the king, I can't help but flinch at his threat. Now get out of my sight before I order your execution. Before I can protest, the general begins to drag me away roughly, ignoring my yelps of pain and shouts for him to free me. General Alaric practically tosses me into the dungeon cell, and I stumble to the ground, wincing in pain as my palms get scratched against the rough floor. Stay in there until His Majesty makes up his mind and what he wants to do with you. If he chooses not to execute you, you're going to be one lucky girl. I have to bite my tongue to keep myself from throwing a particularly colorful string of curses at him. I can hear General Alaric whispering some instructions to the guards outside of my cell before there are footsteps growing fainter and fainter as the general presumably leaves the prison. I let my head fall into my hands, frustrated tears beginning to prick at my eyes. Damn, I messed up really bad this time, and I didn't even learn anything at all. Maybe I should have listened to Kylan's warnings. He was right. Though, to be fair, if he hadn't planted the idea in my head in the first place... No, I shouldn't blame him. I have nobody to blame but myself for my impulses. All I can do now is hope that the guild members chosen by the king at random to question will be those who are particularly loyal to the guild and would lie to protect their comrades. unless I could escape somehow? Squinting in the darkness, I can barely make out my fingers in front of me, let alone discover any hidden escape routes. Besides, my mind is a mess, and I can barely form a coherent thought, let alone a plan. My fate is out of my hands now. With a sigh of despair, I shift into a more comfortable position, leaning against the wall. Eventually, my eyelids begin to grow heavy, and I let sleep pull me under, grateful for the reprieve that offers. The creak of the iron cell doors swinging open rouses me from my sleep, and I jerk awake with a groan. What? Who's there? It's me. Alia, are you alright? Evera? Startled, I raise my head, and the soft, pulsing light from Evera's gem cuts through the darkness, letting me make out Evera's worried features clearly. I force myself to keep my voice level despite the way my heart leaps with like the traitor it is at the sight of Evera. Oh, it's you. If Evera is hurt by my cool response, she doesn't know it. She doesn't show it. Instead, she just smiles at me with sorrow. Yes, it's me. Why are you here? What does it look like? Joining you in the prison cell? Of course I'm letting you out. I didn't realize how much I've missed Evera's sarcastic remarks and eye roll until then. No, why are you even here? I thought you said you were leaving for a long time? A crease appears between her eyebrows, and she ducks her head. In shame? Guilt? I was, but I was worried about you and wondered about how you were coping with the news I dumped onto you, so I logged in just to check on you. I was only going to stay for a brief minute, I swear, but then I found out you were in trouble and, well, I couldn't just let you stay in the dungeons to rot. I'm fine. I don't need your help. Yes, you do. God, Alia, what have you done? Sneaking into the palace to spy on the king? Do you have a death wish? It was a good plan. It was just unfortunate that the one guard I ran into was a magic caster. Eva rolls her eyes at me and reaches out to flick my forehead. Startled, I jerk backwards, my hand flying to the sore spot on my forehead. Ow, what was that for? For being an absolute idiot without a head on her shoulders. If it weren't for me, you'd be dead. If it weren't for me, you'd be dead already. What? What did you do? You have quite some nerve sneaking into the palace to spy on the king. You even admitted it to him and demanded answers about the vessel situation. Are you freaking insane, Alia? I scowl at Evera's scolding. The last person I want to hear this from is Evera. I'm not, thank you very much. Yes, you should thank me. Do you know how difficult it was to bribe the king's most trusted advisors before they went to meet with the king about what to do with you? It took me half of my fortune and a lot of subtle threats to get them to acquiesce? I don't know how to say that word. I'm sorry. If it weren't for me, you'd probably be on your way to the execution block right now. I avert my gaze, finding that the brick wall is much safer to look at than Evera's concerned gaze. They can't kill me. I revive, remember? At most, they keep me locked up here forever. Yeah, because that's any better than a clean, painless death. Lucky for you, I got you out of both. The advisors I bribed managed to persuade the king to let you go rather than risk bringing the wrath of the guild upon them. While most of us were ridiculously loyal to the king and would never think of raising a finger against him for anything less than a martyr or something, I know he still fears our powers and experience in war. You're free to go, but you'll have to pay a hefty fine for that. Better your purse suffer than you, right? I shouldn't be surprised, but somehow I still am. It amazes me how much influence Everett holds due to her rank, even despite her player status, or perhaps partly because of it. My gaze flickers to the glowing gem at Everett's collar, and I scowl again. No. No. Did you just say no to leaving this dungeon? Do you want to rot here for eternity? If I weren't so upset, I might find the way Ever's jaw drops comical. No, but I don't need you to save me. If I'll find a way out of this myself. I'll find a way out of this mess myself. Aelia, don't be stupid. Get out of here. I said no. Silence falls over us, only occasionally broken by Ever's angry sighs and the sound of her pacing footsteps. Finally, she speaks again. Look, I understand that you're angry at me still. You have every right to be. We can talk about things after you are out of that damn gross cell, alright? Talk about what? I told you I've been doing investigation on my end, right? I couldn't give you more details because I wasn't sure myself until I began investigating, but I have some ideas. I think I might be able to find a way to sever the tie between the worlds. At the very least, the links between each player's and vassal's minds. Sensing my shock and a leap of hope inside me, Ever immediately hurries on to add, keyword might. I don't know. There's still so much I don't know. I hardly know what I'm doing. I barely found out anything by hacking into the game server, but I did manage to trace it to the servers of a government department, a secret department of science and research that we were never told about. So I can confirm my government is behind this. I don't know what their plans or intentions are, but I'm going to find out. Somehow. Ever pauses, and I can hear her take a deep breath before continuing. Will you work together with me so we can unravel this mystery together, Aelia? Surprised, I can only blink at Ever in silence, trying to wrap my mind around this turn of events. Should I accept Ever's offer of a truce and work together with her? Can I still trust her after everything? I think I'm gonna say yes. Yes. At some point during her speech, the remaining anger has waned and disappeared, and all I feel now is exhaustion instead, as though the effort of blaming and hating Ever this week has sucked all the energy from me. It's harder than I thought it would be to hate someone I consider one of my closest friends. All this time I was so angry at her because I didn't know how to come to terms with the truth. It was easier to blame her for the deception, the difficult truth, for everything. But it's not really her fault. All of it, anyway. It's not hard to tell that she's trying, really trying to get to the bottom of this and help AIRIS. We have a common goal, and most importantly, she's my best friend. So I give a tiny, almost imperceptible nod that I half expected Ever to miss entirely. However, it appears she did not notice my nod, and a relieved grin spreads across her face, lighting up her eyes. Really? Already nodded. Thank you for trusting me again. Ever's voice cracks a little near the end, and I watch as she takes a deep breath to recollect herself before holding her hand out to me. Shake on our new truce? I stare at her outstretched hand for a long moment, somewhat hesitant. When I finally slip my hand into hers, the warmth of her skin burning against me startles me, and heat rushes to my cheeks, ducking my head and letting my hair shield my burning face from Ever's gaze. I nod. Oh, am I blushing? That's so cute. It's a deal. Then let's get out of this place. God, are there mice in here? I hate mice. I let Ever pull me to my feet, but she fails to release my hand even after I've been dragged out of a prison cell. I ship it. For some reason, I failed to bring myself to twist my hand out of her grasp either, and I ended up letting her lead me out of the castle, still hand in hand. That is adorable. Well, guys, I'm going to end this episode of AIRIS here. If you enjoyed this episode of AIRIS, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, I ship it. And die safely. Bye-bye!